Hey, this is Ree here. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate everyone. All praises to Kali Ma. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. It really helps me a lot. Don't forget to check out my website, paradoxastrology.com. I can help you with anything. And if you would like more exclusive occult videos that I don't post on YouTube, consider subscribing to my Patreon. It also helps support this channel. Okay, let's get into this video. So this is a long anticipated video about the transits of Rahu and Ketu, Rahu going into Pisces and Ketu going into Virgo. So this causes a whole new themes for our lives. This will really change a lot of people. So I wanted to take a lot of time to really think about what this will create. So let's get started. So Rahu in Pisces, there will be many apps that will be put out that will replace spiritual practices, such as astrologers, spiritual counselors, occult AI, etc. And this is already happening and it will increase. AI will be pushed into the market of having a consciousness and empathy. This will be untrue and the result of the illusion that Rahu casts. So once Rahu enters Aquarius after this year and a half, people will realize that we actually need people. There will be a lot of stories and people may also encounter this. Obsessive love. Remember, Venus exaltation point is Pisces and Rahu is obsession. There could be a lot of stalkers as well. I have my Venus here, so I'm not looking forward to this part. Also, when Rahu is in Revati, which is going to start on November 28th, because we're using the true node, by the way, this creates a Saraswati Yoga. So a lot of people, all of a sudden, because Revati is ruled by Mercury, the exaltation of Venus is Pisces, and Pisces is ruled by Jupiter. So that's why this creates a Saraswati Yoga. That brings a lot of wisdom. So a lot of people will actually gain wisdom during this time that they never thought they could have. There will also be people escaping prison while Rahu is in Revati, because this is one of the themes that happen to Revati people. Ketu, and this is just a mixture of Rahu and Ketu all in one. So with Ketu, work weeks will be shortened in many countries. People will get less interested in the mundane and will want to find ways to escape. Rahu and Pisces will make that available through virtual technology. Graphics will get much better and will be even harder to distinguish between reality and fantasy. Technology will replace many creative jobs. With Rahu and Revati, this can be writers. With Rahu in Uttara Bhadrapada, this can be the labor force. And with Rahu in Purva Bhadrapada, this will be teachers. Virtual technology will be used for the medical field, which it already is now, but that will increase. There's a possibility that we could have the first AI preacher/spiritual leader program or app. When Ketu enters Hasta Nakshatra, many traditional jobs that require the hands, like labor jobs, etc., will be replaced by new technology. This will also bring losses in the trade and stock market, and that will occur starting November 24th, 2024. When Ketu enters Uttara Falguni, the entertainment industry will change. Many will be replaced by technology and may sell their likeliness. This can also show replacements or endings in the United Nations as well. Many deaths will occur between July 2024 onwards, hospitalizations and illnesses as Rahu enters Uttara Bhadrapada, then Purva Bhadrapada, which are symbolized by two parts of the funeral cot. This could be due to weather disasters as well, that with fire and water. Addictions will be on the rise. Many will die from overdoses as Rahu and Pisces are both drugs. People use substances more than ever to escape reality. Many will lose their ability to analyze situations and use logic. They will turn to apps to do this for them, and this will be a grave mistake. Remember, all true information comes from within. Technology will be used to cheat many aspects of life. Crime will skyrocket. New ways will be implemented for prisons as they will become even more full than they are now. Psychic experiences will be on the rise, but also mental disorders. False spiritual experiences will be cast onto the masses, and they will believe it. Example, Project Bluebeam. Cults and cult leaders will emerge. New technology for waters and space will be invented. Space exploration will be faked more than it usually is. New planets will be discovered. Many people will suddenly take care of animals. There will be a lack of workers wanting to join the army and a shortage of medical workers. This can be due to a sudden health scare or the truth coming out about the medical community due to the past pandemic. Service to others will be done by those who did it in a past life. Nutrition will suffer as it will become less nutritious and loaded with poisons. This is why many will turn to natural foods and more spiritual ways and holistic healing. Expenses will go up, inflation, losses, there'll be many losses and many endings. UFO sightings, alien abductions will be on the rise, and alien propaganda by the government. In the 80s was the height of UFO sightings and abductions. And in 1986, when Rahu was in Pisces, NBC News did a special report. It was called Are We Alone? And that examined UFOs, aliens, and close encounters. So many things like that, many documentaries, that type of thing. Ketu and Virgo will make many turn away from traditional medicine. Alternative ways of healing will emerge. This will be a result of many deaths and hospitalizations. Many will turn to astrologers and spiritual guidance as well. The medical industry will start to make a lot of mistakes as Ketu, the headless one, transits in its sign. It will lose direction and make others flee from this industry. It can become overly aggressive as well, the medical industry, and speak falsehoods and untruths. There is a possibility of new medical issues which will make the industry more demanding. There will be many casualties of war and untruths of war. An illusion will be cast upon many, and they will not see the truth. Rahu in Pisces has the ability to awaken the masses as they turn towards spirituality, Kundalini awakenings, spiritual practices, occult, astrology, etc. will hit new highs. Deeper knowledge will be in demand. Surface level knowledge will seem less credible. People want more ancient knowledge. They won't really go for this mainstream spirituality anymore. False gurus will see this opportunity and rise. Real gurus will rise as well, and it may be hard to distinguish one from the other. Many spiritual teachers will be using technology, ChatGPT for example, instead of deities and higher consciousness, while pretending to be awakened. Now I'm going to talk about a few things that happened last time in 2005 when Rahu was in Pisces and how these things may reoccur. In 2005, London was hit by an Islamic terrorist bombing which killed 52 and wounded about 700. It's Britain's worst attack since World War II. It was July 7, 2005. 4 bombs exploded in a subway organization and a double-decker bus during the morning rush hour, killing the 52 and wounding 700. A group called itself Secret Organization of Al-Qaeda in Europe claimed responsibility. A week later, on July 21st, terrorists attempted another attack on the transit system, but the bombs failed to explode. The following day, London police shot and killed a Brazilian electrician on a subway train that they said was a case of mistaken identity. It was later revealed that the 27-year-old had exhibited none of suspicious behavior attributed to him by police. So London should be cautious because Rahu will be entering the same house as its natal moon and Ketu. And Ketu will also be entering where Saturn is and its natal Rahu. So you can refer to my other video that I made. It should be out before this one, or it will be out after this one, about London, where I did a breakdown of what I see happening in London. There will be a lot of events happening in the next 18 months. So I'll be covering London and England a lot. Also, Rahu in Pisces can cause a lot of mistaken identities because Pisces has this ability of never knowing what it truly is or who it really is. And as a Pisces ascendant, I can tell you that is very true. It can bring a lot of killings as well. So mistaken identities and deaths are a common occurrence, especially Rahu giving you that illusion. Now, August 15, 2005, Israel began evacuating 8,000 Israelite settlers from the Gaza Strip, which has been occupied by Israel for 38 years. The withdrawal involved 21 Gaza settlements as well as 4 of the most isolated settlements in the West Bank. The majority Israelites supported Prime Minister Ariel Sharon's plan, which he pushed through in August 2004, viewing it as Israel's just and humane response towards the Palestinians, as well as a significant step towards real security for Israelites. But tens of thousands on the right protested Sharon, an architect of the settlement movement, had become a great agent of Gaza's dismantlement. It has seen as an enormous betrayal. We already know that the war is happening, so this is something else to be cautious of, that a major event could occur, because when this happened, on this day, Ketu and Jupiter were conjunct Palestine's Venus, which is the lord of its 10th and 3rd house. And Ketu will conjunct its Venus again within 3 degrees on December 18th of this year. So there could be another major disaster that occurs in the war around that date. On that date, Mars was conjunct natal Rahu in Israel's chart. And this was also its Shawtee within 2 degrees of an exact conjunction. The last part doesn't have anything to do with the nodes, but I just thought it was interesting to know. Another event that occurred was Hurricane Katrina in the US, which was catastrophic damage of the Gulf Coast, and more than 1,000 died and millions were left homeless. Americans were shaken simply by the magnitude of the disaster and by how ill-prepared all levels of government are in the aftermath, which still happens today. Now, on that day, K2 was at 20 degrees, and the natal Saturn in the US chart is 24 degrees, and this was in the 10th house of the US chart. Now, we should expect another disaster to occur around December 30th to February 24th. The end of this year to the beginning of next year. January 23rd is when the exact conjunction happens. Last time it was within 4 degrees, so I'm just giving you that date range. So we could definitely see another disaster and having the government being not prepared, because it never is. Now, during the time, it's interesting to note that the biggest movies had to do with science fiction and fantasy dominated the charts, which was Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, and The War of the Worlds were the top 4 spots. So that's very Pisces energy right there. On July 29, 2005, astronomers at the California Institute of Technology found a rocky, icy planet they believed to be larger than Pluto. This is why I don't subscribe to Western astrology or the NASA found planets, because every time they say that they found a bigger planet than this planet and that planet, and nobody uses that for astrology. They just seem to use Pluto and Neptune and Uranus, which were just recently discovered. But somehow the rishis, with all of their Vedic knowledge, the Vedas, which weren't even written by humans, somehow they didn't know that these planets existed. It makes no sense. But anyways, you'll see other discoveries of more planets. April 2nd, 2005 was when Pope John Paul dies, and we could see another death of a leader, a spiritual leader or a religious leader. April 23rd was the first ever YouTube video, which was titled Me at the Zoo. Pisces has a lot to do with animals, so does Virgo. Brevity is taking care of animals as well. And Rahu is technology. Revati is ruled by Mercury, which is communication, and its symbol is the drum. This type is used in marching bands to communicate news, just like YouTube broadcast yourself slogan. You never know, there could be an update to YouTube, there could be something new that goes on with YouTube, or there could be new file or video sharing programs that are created, our new social media as well. So that's just a little bit of what I see. I hope I gave you a lot of examples of what may occur, and I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.